Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pokemon Mystery Dungeons and Dragons: The Lanwell Chronicles. Let's get right into it with a recap. Quill actually did it last, so do any of the other three want to do it?
I can,
All right.
but it sounded like somebody else said it at the same time.
Oh, you can go. I was going to do it, but you can go.
Okay. Uh, Last time was simultaneously
Let's get.
not very eventful and also very eventful. So we set off to Snowsea City in order to rendezvous with some people there and meet up with the head of the local guild branch. And on our way, we noticed that somebody was following us, and we thought we managed to scare him off. But as we got closer towards the city, we got ambushed by some bandits, or we thought they were bandits at least, and they gave us a run for our money. Um, Kind of almost beat us to a bloody pulp. And we tried interrogating them afterwards, but they were wise to Renyl's mind reading capabilities. We did manage to, through some clever kind of manipulating their thoughts by using certain keywords, figure out that they were sent by the Purge to eliminate us. Yeah, but we did defeat them, and we continued on our way towards Snow Sea.
And yeah, aside from reaching the city, yeah, that's about it. So, so take your deep luck points. Gosh darn it, I'm not speaking good today.
Did I get my luck points last time?
I
Ooh, nice.
think you did. Yeah,
Oh,
you
good, good.
did. Nice. Okay, you got a lot. All right. So yeah, as mentioned last time, you reach the city. You see the lookout platform. See various Pokemon walking around. They notice you. Some of them see Eugene Eugene. They seem to wave at you, Eugene, but sorta otherwise assume that you're not interested in talking with them and otherwise keep their distance. But at the very least, it doesn't seem like you guys are barred, outlawed, or there's anything preventing you from entering the town. In fact, they don't seem to see you guys as anything more than just a bunch of travelers, aside from Eugene, who they just see as that person they sometimes occasionally see in town. It is currently cloudy, not yet snowing. The port, you're a bit far from it, but you don't see anything that looks like any ships yet. So the sailors aren't here yet, at the very least. What do you want to do?
I think I want to point out Quill did not get luck points last time. I just went back in the chat history and I don't see him rolling a d6 anywhere.
Oh, Quill,
It's okay.
roll d6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on May 28th. Okay, but I
Okay.
think the plan was we were going to uh kind of head towards the guild as fast as we can. Or what time of day is it right now?
As of right now, it is late afternoon.
Okay, yeah, still lots of time in the day then. I think we should head towards the guild.
don't see any reason not to.
Probably want to not draw attention to ourselves if they sent assassins after us.
Right.
And yeah, we'll go towards the guild then.
Okay. Eugene, you're familiar enough with the town layout that pretty easy to just lead them. The terrain is very flat, not too many mountains or anything, so it's pretty easy to see the guild building off in the distance. And are you going to go in right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alright. So, you go into the guild building, and you see at the top of the reception desk of this building, as the guild layouts are all basically the same in between, you see a snom acting as the receptionist. And the snom says to you, Welcome to the guild. What do you need?
We're just here to speak with Minerva.
Do you have an appointment?
We do not, but we are with the Freelance Guild.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
I'll show my badge.
Oh. Alright. Sure. I'll inform Lady Minerva that you're here. Can I have some names?
Eugene Balthazar.
Okay.
Harold.
Renuel.
Zurge.
Okay. You see the snom flop off the desk and sort of waddle his way into the back of the guild. Are you just gonna wait?
Yeah.
Okay.
Renuel's gonna pop into the astral plane really quick.
What?
Okay.
Is it even colder here?
No. Feels about the same as it felt when you were last there, though it hasn't been too long since you popped in and out.
Okay. He just kind of pops back.
What did you just do?
I was checking the astral plane. It was colder last time I was there.
What's even there?
Nothing.
Well, that's impossible. How can you explain nothing? Something's got to be there. Like your mind couldn't comprehend if nothing was there. At least I don't think your mind can.
Nothing of importance.
Okay.
It is basically empty. I suppose if you want to argue that the fabric of space-time is there, that would be valid. But anything of note, I have not seen anything.
Well, I'm just saying, like saying nothing. I mean, even nothing is something.
Renuel just kind of looks at him.
Never mind.
Okay, with that philosophy, something, you eventually see the snom open the door again and waddle back onto the reception desk, and he says, Okay, Lady Miss Sarah says you could come in. She's in her office on the top floor. Be careful, the floors are a little slick.
Okay. All right. Let's go, guys.
I like how her name is just like this quantum superposition of Minerva.
Oh, sorry, it's Minerva.
Point.
Yeah, it's Minerva. Okay, I know why. I actually looked through my notes and I know why, but yeah, Minerva.
Okay.
Minerva is waiting to see you.
Okay. Well,
Upstairs we go.
Alright, so you go upstairs, and as you're walking to the second floor, you definitely notice that the floors do appear to be slick, and it seems like it's because the Spiel who's trying to watch the floors ended up accidentally pouring too much water and ended up causing the floors to be icy, and now the Spiel's rolling around like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, gosh. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Feel pinball.
I'll use produce flame on the icy part and turn it back into water.
Okay, you do that. The Spiel looks to you and says, oh, thank you so much. Oh, Lady Minerva was going to be, well, she wasn't going to be too angry, but it's really for the best that we don't, leave any place this slippery. We do occasionally have non-ice types here, and it would have been really bad. Thank you.
Yeah, it's by stairs, and it just kind of worried me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, you maybe get to mopping it up because it might happen again.
Oh, right. And
Not to tell you what to do or anything. I mean, I don't work here, but
right, I get it. And the Spiel begins to mop up some of the spills before it ends up freezing.
I
Is
was
it
so
that
tempted to
cold
have,
in here?
Yeah, ask the one who can't feel cold. Well, we don't really. I mean, it's cold all around, and we don't really. We like not to start the fires to warm the place up until near the afternoon, so sometimes on a really chilly day it just freezes up. But you guys just go on your business. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna. And she continues.
yeah. Let's go into the office, guys.
Right, so it's like the door open, or do we
Yeah.
need to knock?
As you
I guess even if it is open, we'll knock a little bit on it anyway.
as you go upstairs, the door is closed.
Renewal Minor Illusions knocking.
Of course it does.
Of course.
And you hear a voice on the other side say, "Come in."
I like to imagine that Redniel has one specific sound that he always uses for knocking, even if it's not appropriate for the material the door's made of.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Oh my gosh. But yeah, she calls out and says, "Come in."
Then
Right.
we enter.
Alright. You walk in, and as you walk in, you feel the temperature dip tremendously as Minerva seems to keep her room pretty icy. Though you notice it's icy, but it's very sculpted ice. It's made very pretty. The walls have various hues of blue. The floors, at the very least, are not iced, but the walls are. But they're made to look pretty, but they are also ice. Her desk is not ice, but she does have a few notes on it. It seems she was busy doing paperwork when you came in. And as you walk in, she looks to you all and says, "Welcome to Snowsea. What brings you for this far south?"
kind of Pokemon is she?
She is an Ice Ninetales. Yeah, so you see this Ice Ninetales standing on the other side of the desk. She looks quite regal and well groomed almost.
I totally forgot we were supposed to get the stuff.
I was wondering. I was thinking that.
I was wondering as well.
I wasn't
forgot
going to
bring
say
up the
anything,
rules.
but I was thinking it.
You've probably heard about what happened near what was the name of that town?
Donsbury.
Yeah, Donsbury.
I heard a bit, yeah. I heard that the town was suddenly consumed by a mystery dungeon, but a group helped save the town's Pokemon in there and managed to dispel the dungeon somehow to allow them to return back.
I wasn't talking about that part. I meant what happened afterwards.
Ah, right. Estes and the mayor of Whitetown, they nearly clashed, I believe, blaming each other.
Mm-hmm. And are you aware of the accusations that were thrown around by that group?
Accusations?
About parts of both those governments being involved in certain groups.
No, I'm afraid that information wasn't given to me.
Well then, I'll cut straight to the chase. What do you know about the Purge?
We know bits and pieces. We know that is an Aryan-based organization. We know that they were created or formed in response to the Caldwelchian organization of similar design, the CILS. From what we've heard, there's been circulating rumors that the events over in near Gwable Town had something to do with them, the events that cost Pokemon their powers, but we don't have any substantial proof on that. And that is just about all we have in terms of information on them.
Is that true? You not know who is possibly involved? Who may be leading it?
Brynjol's gonna detect thoughts here.
Okay. As you detect thoughts, you are unable to. I'm kidding. As you detect her thoughts, you notice that there's a bit of sadness coming off of her. But she says, no. We don't. We know that more than likely there are many members of Arian, many Pokemon from Arian who have joined it, obviously, but we don't know for sure who or what might be part of the group. And Rainiel, her thoughts seem to confirm it, but she seems to be telling herself that she seems to suspect something about them, but she's telling herself that that can't be true.
Brynjol's going to telepathically convey this information to everyone in the group.
I. Well, we have proof who is involved. Our contact is going to be delivering it to us tonight or tomorrow morning.
You have
How
proof?
would you feel about that?
You have proof, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Reniel, you feel slight bits of fear from her, but not for herself. She's not afraid of what this information might reveal about her, but rather what she might learn from this information.
We don't have it at the moment, but the reason being is because we are on the way here to tell you about this, and we were attacked by assassins sent by the Purge.
Her eyes open wide and she says, "Assassins? Are you sure?"
I look at like all the like cut marks on my teammates. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were assassins.
Well, are you sure they were assassins and not just petty bandits or something like that?
We interrogated them.
Ah, I see. I'm sorry for what happened to you. And she does seem genuine, right, Neil?
Okay.
But knowing all this, and the proof that we have is it involves you. Meaning the person in charge of the Purge was going to try and recruit you to their cause.
They were?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I want to be very clear. We're not accusing you of anything.
I understand.
In fact, the document said that they weren't able to. They had to maybe sway you a little harder to join their cause.
Hmm.
So, I know we're showing up with no proof at the moment, but you realize why we had to immediately come here.
I see.
And
I do indeed wish for proof to substantiate your claims, but speaking regardless, you have nothing to fear. I have no interest in the Purge or their ambitions.
but is there someone in the Purge that you're concerned about?
Not that I know of, though Reniel, you sense from her thoughts, possibly.
Okay. For fairness, I'm gonna burn another spell slot because it only lasts a minute.
Okay. Sure.
So there is no one you are concerned about that may be participating in the Purge's activities?
If there are, I'm unaware of it. I don't exactly know for sure or have any proof of any knowledge of who might be part of the Purge, so if there
You
is...
sound like you have. You sound like you have suspicions.
She closes her mouth for a moment and she says, "Whether I do or do not doesn't matter. Suspicions without proof is meaningless. Proof is everything, otherwise all you're throwing around is wild accusations."
Well,
I
you
think
seem-
it might be more productive to resume this conversation after we have our own evidence.
If that is what you want, then very well. I can set up a meeting for you for tomorrow morning, if you believe you'll get your evidence by then. Would that be alright with you? You don't have to worry about any recruitment or anything like that happening. As I said before, I have no intentions of joining them.
Very well. It's just, I believe anything can happen in 24 hours.
I cannot deny that very many things might, but at the same time, perhaps if you manage to get your proof by the end of the day, then I'll leave my door open for you, but until you have proof, I don't believe this conversation will be productive.
Okay.
You are free to use the guild as a staying point, should you so wish.
I think that, yeah, we'll do that.
Very well. Go talk to our receptionist, and you will be given a key to one of the rooms.
Very well.
Do try to keep our presence here under wraps. As we stated, we have had an assassination attempt made on us, and we would like to not have that happen while we are here.
Well, you'll more than likely be seen by most of the Pokemon who are either working or around here, but otherwise, I don't intend on mentioning that you're here necessarily.
Reynold doesn't quite seem satisfied with that response, but he accepts it.
Okay, we'll be on our way then.
Very well. We'll meet again when you have your evidence. And she nods and lets you out.
Right. We'll go to the receptionist then and grab a key.
Okay. Oh, you're staying. Okay. He hands you a key. It might be a little cold, but he hands you one.
Right,
Do you need
thank
another key, or will one suffice?
I think one will suffice. We're probably not going to split up.
All right. Have a good stay, and good luck with whatever work you're doing.
Yep. Okay, so where were we supposed to meet them to get the documents? I forgot all about that.
We did not set up an exact point.
I guess, are you able to contact them?
Yes.
Maybe
It was
we...
Ricky we sent to collect the documents, right?
Ricky, yes.
Alright, he's going to cast Sending to Ricky and tell him to meet us at the... Are there multiple docks in Snow Sea, or just one?
Like there's one beach, but there are a few docks, yeah.
Renial will just ask Eugene for the name of a specific dock, and that's the one he'll use to tell Ricky where to meet us.
Right.
Okay. Alright. You tell Ricky that, and he responds that he will be there he will be there either this evening or possibly early night.
All right. Reniel will confer that information.
Okay. I don't think we should draw attention to ourselves out there if we don't have to. So maybe we should just stay in the guild and wait for evening to roll around.
Agreed.
All right. Do you want to cut to evening, or is there anything you want to talk about before then?
I think I'm good.
I
Yeah,
don't have
same
anything.
here.
Ice?
Muted.
Oh. Alright, I guess we're good then. Okay, so you hang around in your room, the guild, trying to keep as low of a profile as possible, and soon enough, you see the sun sort of set on the horizon. As it does, as is natural with a place like this, it gets even colder, but it's not too terribly bad, but just a little bit uncomfortable.
Reniel's all nice and bundled up in his robe of stars.
Actually, is there a library here?
In the guild? Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go there and grab a book about the astral plane.
Okay. You can do that.
Just start reading it.
Okay, so what you learn is, as Raniel said, the astral plane is normally a plane of mostly nothing. It seems to be sort of an in-between realm. Some theorize that it might have some amount of relation to mystery dungeons, but there's been no proof, and it's very rare for a mystery dungeon to ever bring you to the astral plane. You learn that, for the most part, as he said, there's nothing there aside from there is light coming from some sort of source, and if an object from the real world is put in the astral plane, it usually flies endlessly, but if you go to the point in the astral plane where the object was sent there, you are immediately brought to where that object is in the astral plane. Otherwise, entering into the astral plane is mostly random. Is there anything else you want to look about into it?
Well, I'm probably only getting a few out. Well, probably like 3 or 4 hours of reading. But like saying, like it says it's nothing. How could it be nothing? That's impossible. It has to be something.
It is nothing.
But even a void is something.
Here, let me check.
Reniel's going to pop in, see nothing, pop back out, and say,
There is still nothing.
You know, it just sounds crazy to me. I just gotta set the book down.
Alright. But yes, anything else for the 3 hours? Or for the few hours you're waiting till evening? Or is that pretty much it?
That's it for me. I'm probably reading a book during this.
Okay.
I guess I will be in conversation with that poor guy stuck in my ring to try to keep him up to date on the situation.
Okay. He seems to have mostly accepted, with air quotes, his lot in being within that ring. He isn't too terribly talkative, but he does appreciate that you're being somewhat chatty with him. And keeping up to date on things.
I reflect on the fact that I now have two effectively disembodied spirits with me that I need to keep up to date on everything.
Sounds rough, man.
It's rough, buddy.
Hashtag D&D problems.
As long as Kortha doesn't tell me that my Wiimote batteries are about to die.
Oh my gosh.
Master, did you know that you're low on health?
Is he trying not to die?
Master, there is an 82% probability that this floor is made out of floor.
What's the other 18%?
You don't want to know. Alright. But yeah, evening falls and you guys begin heading your way to the docks. As of right now, the crew is still not there, but you do and see Ricky there. He seems to be trying to hide away a little and try and keep a low profile. But as you get closer, he nods to you and says, "Over here."
I'm gonna go over there.
Yeah, it might be better if only one of us does.
Yeah, okay, so I'll let Harold do it since he
Yeah,
probably
I
has.
will.
He hands you the note and says, "Got you what you asked for, but let me tell you, that Duot's freaking out of his mind right now."
What do you mean?
Well, apparently you told him something and he's been given, like, no good explanation of what's going on with that. So he's a little frazzled.
Unfortunately, that's just the limitations of Renyl's magic. We don't really have a way of giving him the full story right now, otherwise we would.
Ricky was supposed to do it.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Whoopsie!
Actually, now that I think about it, I thought we agreed to have you relay that information to him.
Shoot, sorry. Ran into some complications on the road and completely forgot. Probably should have realized that. Yeah, well. I'll try and go back and relay it. At least I managed to keep him from stomping over and going after you guys. But yeah, that note should be accurate, and I gave him your forged note.
I'm going to take a quick look just to make sure this is it.
Yeah, it looks unchanged from what you saw when you last had it.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Stay safe out there, you guys. Things seem
Same to you.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get the badge too?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
you got everything you were asked for.
Okay.
And he sort of is taking, like, back roads and stuff, but he begins making his way off.
Oh, by the way, you said we got sending stones off those assassins?
Yes, you did. You got
Okay,
3 of
so
them. There would have been 4, but one of them melted.
So what's the deal with those? Are they linked together, or is it like they're all linked? Or is it just someone with the sending stone can get it?
Let me check my notes just to be sure. These 3 stones are all linked together, yes.
Are you thinking we should give one to Raven?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So just tell Ricky to give one to him.
I'll,
Send back.
and I wonder if it would be a good idea to give another one to Ricky himself.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, are these sending stones just the you can cast sending back and forth once per day, or are they the indefinite variety?
They are
There's only
they're the you can cast sending once per day per stone though. So like you can say with this 3 layout you have Raniel can use sending once, and then the other 2 can like respond. One of them can use sending, and then 2 of you can respond, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So is any message sent through one of the stones picked up by both of the other 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait a minute. What if there's another one?
Dun dun dun.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a terrible idea. It might not be a bad idea to just keep them to see if we can intercept anything that comes through them, though.
Yeah. We'll use Reniel's normal sending to tell him about these and tell him about the worry there might be another one. And
Randall's probably just gonna burn the rest of his magic today to try to catch Raven up to speed as much as he can.
it may be a long shot too, and if we can't use these for communicating, maybe we can use them if we're really worried about this. We can sabotage them. Just feed them fake information somehow through them, if that's really what's going on here.
I have no qualms with that.
Yeah, but we'll deal with that once it comes. But do you want to go back to Minerva tonight, or do you want to get rest and do it tomorrow when we have our energy back?
It would be good for me to have full power so that I can read her mind if necessary.
Okay, yeah, I guess we'll crash for the night.
This room, though, it is somewhat time-sensitive information unless, well, you know. Perhaps shows up and get to her before we get to provide our evidence.
Well, it's just I just have a bad feeling, that's all. And I think we should I think we should rest before confronting her, now that I'm thinking about it. Be careful throughout the night. We'll go immediately in the morning.
Okay.
Unless you guys have any arguments to the contrary.
I don't.
None here.
All right.
Seems I'm outvoted, so
Do you think it's a good idea to crash in the guild?
Minerva does not seem to have anything against us. We should be safe unless the purge is infiltrated underneath her watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm a little worried about, but
We can simply take watches as we normally would.
Trade-off is that way we're at least as close to our office as we could be.
yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I guess that's the plan. So we're gonna head back to the guild and take our room.
Okay. You do that. You head to your room and you're going to take watches.
Mm-hmm. And Renyo's going to start going. I believe he's got He's got 3 casts of sending in him, and I'm typing up what he's going to send to Raven.
75 words.
Okay, interesting. Alright. Do you want me to wait for you to finish typing, or shall we move on
Could
to...
be a while.
Okay, alright, then we'll move on to night. So what's watch order?
Renyo's last.
I'm first.
I'll go second.
All right, I think that's just the usual.
I don't have your usual memorized. Well, I have Eugene going first and Renio going last memorized, but... Alright. So, you guys head to sleep. You begin taking your watches, but the night seems to pass by without any incidents.
Yeah, I probably read the book during my watch. It's like, this is ridiculous. How could they know nothing about the astral plane. I don't either, but this can't be right. Who wrote this?
Notably, I'll mention this as well. The sending stones don't seem to. They don't seem to. You don't hear anything coming from the sending stones all night either.
Yeah.
But soon enough, you see the light come as the next morning arrives. This guild does not seem to have earthquakes to wake people up.
I'm
It has
probably
ice quakes.
Ice quake? What's an ice quake?
You know when part of Antarctica falls off?
Ah.
I'm probably, since I'm back home, I'm probably sleeping in a little more. Just not waking up on time.
Okay,
So when you say sleeping in, you mean like
Trying to.
10 minutes or like an hour?
Probably like I get up like I probably just don't get up actually.
so you all wake up
Oh,
and
you gotta.
you all wake up, but Eugene's still asleep.
My inclination is to say we give him until like a little after sunrise and then we wake him up.
Okay. You wait until little after sunrise. Is Eugene up yet?
Will I be? Do you want to leave it to a roll?
Okay, sure. Roll me a wisdom saving throw to see if you wake up, I guess.
Okay. Oh, I don't have my sheet because I was looking up the sending stones. Where's documents? Documents. Or character sheets. I'm so sorry. Trying to find all my stuff. My
Okay,
wisdom
well,
saving.
I have come up with a message. So whenever we're ready for that.
I guess we'll do that while we're waiting for character sheets.
There
Okay.
we go.
Reniel is going to say, Fluffwell recruited CILS and Purge. We're doing preemptive strikes, eliminating Purge leadership first. You will be planted as mayor. Stall action by CILS until we get there. We will eliminate CILS leadership, trying to get support of Minerva using note and badge as proof of Purge's intentions. Do you guys agree to that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just 2 sendings or castings of sending.
Oh, okay.
So Raven can respawn twice between all of that.
Okay. Can you copy paste that?
Yes.
Meanwhile, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah. You're still asleep.
Zephyr Strike.
Do you ever think sorcerers blow up the entire room with fireball when they're asleep?
Well, now that you've said so.
Oh no.
Right, I'm gonna
Better hope
Hey,
Reniel doesn't
Eugene.
sleep cast.
Oh, if I'm kind of roused awake, I'm like, oh, sorry, slept in. Usually, when we go to places like this, an earthquake wakes us up.
Alright, we ready?
Is Reniel ready, or is he? Are we waiting for the response?
He technically did this last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is technically last night stuff, so it doesn't really matter for today.
Yeah, as for today, Reniel's ready.
Okay, yeah. So, armed with our evidence, we approach Minerva's office then.
Okay.
And as we're leaving the room, I am going to cast Enhance Ability at 3rd level, giving myself and Eugene advantage on charisma checks.
Cool.
Okay, interesting. Alrighty, so you go upstairs again, and her door's... Actually, this time, her door's...
One last thing. Can, the previous night, can we get a counter spell into the Ring of Spell Storing?
Sure.
Okay. That's it. Continue.
Okay. The door this time is actually open for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna knock anyway.
Yeah,
Reniel casts knocking.
the knock on the side door as we enter.
Good morning to you all. I hope you had a pleasant sleep.
Yeah. You know, you don't have earthquakes to wake people up.
Oh, that's the training branch's thing. That freaked me out too when I was first apprenticing there. They do that mostly to install a sense of time on you and make sure you're not sleeping in too late to be able to do assignments.
I don't think it worked then.
You know, I'll admit I thought for a minute you were going to say to install a sense of mortality.
Maybe that's slightly, but that's beside the point. It's not an actual earthquake. But we're not here to discuss guild policies. Have you gotten what you need?
Yes.
I guess Harold has it.
And in a sense, I suppose we are here to discuss guild policies. I'm going to present her the note.
She looks at it, and looks at it for a while. She slightly sad as she looks at the note and says, oh. So So they have a base right under my nose. And Thornton and Shad. Thornton, okay, he is an Aaron, descended from Aaron Noble, but why Shad?
That I couldn't tell you.
We were hoping you could give us more information on.
At the very least, he's their research and development.
I see. Think they would do this without my knowledge.
Do you know who this is written by, correct?
This note?
Mm-hmm.
Well, by process of elimination, it can't be either of those two. If I were to guess, it'd be either a note-taker receptionist part of Purge or their leader themselves.
Yes, and that would be Assessus from Steelport.
She, as you say that, you see her flinch for a moment, and she says, "Excuse me, Astesis?"
Yes.
What makes you so sure her name isn't anywhere here on this document?
I got this from her office.
She clenches her teeth and says,
And you're a leader, a politician, what have you. I'm sure you have something from her and you can match the writing.
"We do, yes." She pulls out a document that appears to be some food imported from up north. And she also pulls out a document of, or the shipping label, both of which were written and signed by Astesis. And as you all see, the handwriting indeed matches. She sighs and says, "Of course. Of course. Well, I guess I can't look away from the truth anymore."
So where does that put us now?
What do you want from me exactly? I assume you came here for more than just to inform me.
Support. We plan on taking down not just the Purge, but CILS and let's just say some others working in the shadows.
I see. Can you give me a second?
Yes.
You see her sit there for a moment. She seems to be composing herself from the shock of this news. And she says, "I can give you support. I know at least there are a few who I'm fairly sure are not current members of the Purge. Few within that I've worked with in this guild and a few outside of it, so I can give you that support. But before you act, before anything else, do you mind if I tell you something?"
Of course.
As you can probably guess, I know Estes fairly well. Believe it or not, she was once part of the Freelance Guild, as was I. We joined about the same time back when we were younger, back when I was just a simple Vulpix and she was an Eevee. And she was a lot different back then. She was still just about as stiff as you might know her now. Air nobility has a tendency to act like that. They're told to be stoic, in charge, to not let weakness or emotion pass by, but despite that, she was able to. She did smile a lot back then, and she was quite a lot kinder. Believe it or not, back when we were younger, she actually wanted to help the food disparity between Caldwelch and Aryan, since, as you know, Caldwelch has much less fertile ground to be able to grow the mass amounts of food that Aryan has. It was one of the initial reasons why Caldwelch started warring in the first place, was to get more fertile grounds. However, after she left the guild, she got married, and her husband worked with her in her shipping business. However, he was mugged and kidnapped by the CILS. It was thanks to her husband that the guild was able to learn of the CLS and their activities in the first place. And they targeted him because he was carrying both food and weaponry over to Caldwelch. He managed to send her a sending spell, but as he was doing that, they noticed him and they silenced him. She heard both his last words and his guttural screams as his life ended. That is likely what led her to take the extreme actions she did to form the Purge out of fear and out of a desire for power, because for a moment she lost power and lost something she held very dear. I'm not telling you this to say she's justified. No, in fact, I do not believe she's justified at all. But I'm telling this because I want you to understand. The Purge, while their actions may be evil in many ways, they act out of fear and out of a desire to not let war, not let tragedy reach our shores again. Even your parents, I believe, Eugene. Do you know of the tragedy of Snowsea?
Would that be a common tale I would know about?
Give me a history check.
All right.
Okay, so no, you don't believe you've heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't brushed up on my history around here. I'm usually interested in other places.
Fair enough. You see, during the final days of the war, Caldwelch had a scheme to. They were realized that they were close to losing, so they hatched a scheme. And they managed to get sea vessels down south, pretending they were Aryan mercantile ships, and they launched a siege and completely devastated and destroyed Snow-Sea, forcing Aaron to send some of its forces down south and divide their armies. It was a last-ditch effort, and it ultimately failed in the end, but Snow-Sea, it was once larger than you've seen it and much more thriving, but after the destruction, they had to rebuild. It's events like that, events of absolute brutality, that are the reason why CILS leads to so much fear in many Aryans. And the reason why the Purge gained ground as it did.
Well, I will say this. In this pursuit of fear and vengeance, Estes has not only cast out her only daughter, but she has also taken away powers from Pokemon that cherish and value those powers. His mother is one of them.
She was a Sylveon.
This whole cycle of revenge needs to stop.
It does. I absolutely agree on that. I am well aware, in fact, even if Aaron continues, even if the Purge gets their way, it won't lead to an end of the war. It'll lead to bitterness and anger by those who are forced to lose their power, and they'll rise up, another war will start, and then another, and then another. I do agree the cycle does need to stop, and that is indeed why you have my support. Again, I want you to know, just so that you're aware, there are people behind these actions.
I understand.
They may not be justified, but they are still people, and they do have reasons for their actions.
Well, if I've learned anything from Renyo, it's they've shown they won't hesitate when it comes to silencing us, so maybe we're better off not knowing that.
Maybe. But I still want you to know anyways. She takes a deep breath and she says, "So what do you plan on doing?"
Well, we're on a mission of sorts, and we've learned that we are going to be ambushed by multiple groups. The Purge is among one of them. And well, we know where they're hiding out, and we want to preemptively strike them before they strike us. Same goes for the other groups.
Do you have the ability to do so? Would you even know where to begin?
Yes, we have an idea where they are. Well, we plan to take out the leader, and well, if you haven't kept up with the news, they've seemingly disappeared, right?
Yes. Estesis has, as far as I'm aware, she has abdicated the mayorship of Steelport and has currently disappeared.
Yes. What? That's really just a front. They're really plotting on silencing us.
Which is why they sent assassins after you, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. And we have a good idea where they're hiding in Steelport. We've confirmed where the CILS leaders are.
Very well. Then here's what I think. And if you have your own ideas, you may act as you see fit as well, but based on what you told me, I have an idea of my own. If I assume, and I could be wrong, but how heavily guarded do you believe this location Estes has is?
Harold would know.
Based on what I saw, it looks to be very heavily guarded.
Very well.
Although they might be relying partially on concealment.
Very well. Then here's how I believe it's best to support you. I and a group of those I can get will go in attempt to arrest, and we will poke the beedrill nest, as it were. We will attempt to draw out and begin battling their whatever forces they have that they're attempting to use to guard the place. And when they do that, you and perhaps a smaller group among you can then sneak your way in, and when it's much less heavily guarded, make your way over to the leaders.
Another idea too is they, according to this note, they have particular interest in you. Could we somehow use that to our advantage?
She looks at the note. According to this, it seems it is certainly possible that I might be able to if they are indeed interested in recruiting me, it is also possible that I may be able to try and enter among them under the guise of finally joining them, having seen the light or what it is. However, the difficulty there comes, even if I can somehow sneak you all in as well, once a fight breaks out, it may once again lead to a similar situation where we will be swarmed not only by them but also by whatever guards there are. Though perhaps there's a way to combine both the plans. A split operation. If I can get you in, I get you all in. We perhaps send a signal to an outside group and have them draw out the guards the moment we decide to attack. That may be another option as well.
I've also learned a few things about imitating others. Do you think there's a way I could switch places with you to not get you involved?
Switch places? What would you mean by that? Or what
become a double to get us in easier.
She looks over you and says, "You're a bit small if to disguise yourself as me."
Well, I read a few things about in this book about a tree about this strange magic to change my form. Well, not really change my form, just use an illusion.
Mm, I see. You could certainly try.
Hmm.
It would get you in quite easily, though. How would your friends be able to assist you unless you believe you can go in and do what you need to do alone?
Yeah, I'm just saying that's a resource we have to perhaps get it in there with as little retaliation as possible.
That is certainly a possibility, I can't deny. It's a way to
You,
get you in at the very least, though you'd also need to figure out a way to get your friends in as well.
well, I could give it to my other friend here through a ring he has, but would you normally have an entourage with you?
There. It depends, but there are, I do occasionally have a couple Vulpix I travel with. They aren't related to me, but they're friends who I have made over my travels, and they do occasionally like to act as bodyguards for me. In reality, it's more like I'm bodyguard for them, but
Yeah. I'm just trying to perhaps orchestrate a way where we don't have to fight to get inside and merely just use deception.
well, that will account for two Pokemon then. Especially if I were going into this situation, if I probably would bring them just in case it turned out to be a trap, and I'm sure they would be aware of that as well, so they would be expecting me to have an entourage of two of my Vulpix friends. So if you can change your form like that, then that would be three of you that you can get in just fine. Or presumably just fine in any case.
You,
I'm fairly decent with disguises.
I was about to ask, do you two have any ideas of how we can infiltrate there?
I always have invisibility.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Harold, but they seemed to check for that too, didn't they?
Yes, actually, I don't know if your magic will work either.
Yeah, that just kind of dawned on me.
Which results in illusions not exactly being a good choice, and they'd be looking for us specifically, so.
Okay,
No,
what
if
about, you know, maybe we could take a page out of history and you said there was a bunch of Caldwell ships disguised as merchant ships, right?
Yes, that is correct. They managed to sneak past. They managed to sneak through by flying errant flags and disguise themselves as mercantile ships when they were in fact warships.
There be anything you could bring with you that we could maybe hide in, like sort of like, hmm,
We could disguise Sergei's old cruise ship as an errand ship, and we could even put the Star of the Purge on it. That would at least get them into position.
yeah.
Perhaps, what if we were inside some of the cargo they deliver?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
That isn't going to get us inside the base, but it could get us into town.
It could get you into the base, actually. Though they may check the cargo. However, if I were to be bringing some cargo with me as potentially a if I were to bring cargo with me as potentially a peace offering or as a gift, then especially if they're hiding there, they likely need deliveries or supplies in order to eat and stuff like that, so they must be taking deliveries somehow.
That's true. They have to be eating down there.
Oh, that's right. They're hunkering down there permanently now.
In that case, they'll probably check cargo, so
Yeah, you need to figure out a way to make it so that you're not noticed inside the cargo, but it is certainly possible that I it is certainly possible that I could deliver you in the form of cargo if you could find a way to make sure that they aren't able to detect you inside the cargo.
you could always do something like false bottom on the cargo and kill the top.
Yeah, yeah. That's not an illusion. They wouldn't be able to see through that. Just put a lid on top of you inside a barrel.
It would take some construction, but that could certainly work.
Yeah, it sounds actually like a pretty good idea.
It is very similar to what we found in an office, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the office. Let's just say the office isn't the only one using that trick. But yeah, maybe we can organize something like that. I think the crew might can get involved with that somehow, get us in, because I don't think they're aware they're affiliated with us completely.
Oh my gosh, Doc.
We can call it Operation Trojan Ponyta.
Oh, so you're familiar with the Trojan Ponyta at least.
Yes.
That could work. So, with your current plan, I would come in with an offer to join the Purge, and guessing that they're hiding out and that they need supplies, I would have those who I can trust deliver some supplies.
Yes.
You would be within those supplies under false lids. I'd likely also still have actual supplies within the boxes, but the false lids would keep them from being able to shift through it and detect you. And that would likely be able to get you inside the base. Do you have any plans from there?
I think our plan was just to take out their leader. I don't think
Leaders.
she's
Plural.
leaders. Yes. As I don't think they're going to listen to reason. I've talked to her several times, at least Estes anyway, and she seems to be the ringleader.
Very well. How are you going to deal with the possibility that if there are plenty of guards, they might come in and the leaders might trigger an alarm and then you'll have to deal with the leaders and whatever guards are potentially there.
We have a few individuals as backup.
I think our priority too is trying to neutralize any way of them, any sort of alarms or ways they can, any security. If we can lure them out in the open too, that's all well and good. So I don't think they can afford to appear out in the open anyway because they've seemingly disappeared.
They more than likely can't, yes. This may lead to some amount of difficulty, but I do think at the very least you have a concrete plan to get you in. Though, once it comes down to the possibility of what security might happen, that it may not be possible for you to even plan for that since you don't know what the inside of their base looks in the first place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You may
Short of kill on sight.
You may want to have your backup be ready to cause some noise, as it were.
Yeah. If things get dicey, we can have our other team cause some noise at the entrance we know of.
They will already be in position, especially if we use them as a cargo ship.
Want them to make noise before we make our move, though, because I don't think they'll necessarily leave if they already know we're here.
I mean, if their front door is getting attacked, that's going to draw attention too. At the very least, it would split their forces.
There's something ironic about that. The very technique that Caldwell used to try and stall out the war is becoming a similar technique you're using to attempt to take out the Purge.
Maybe we'll brush up on some Caldwell history when we go deal with CILS too.
But I'll begin by getting the cargo prepared for you, and hopefully you have a means of communicating with the people you're going to take to ship the cargo there.
Yeah, we do.
Very well. Is there anything else you need or wish to discuss with me?
Just, thank you.
It's no problem. Even if Estes is there, even if my old friend is there, I have no love for the Purge. I have no love for CILS, so if both of them are no more, then I think Lanwell will be a better place able to finally move past its history and work towards a better future.
I think the biggest flaw with the Purge is they think that taking away powers is going to bring peace, but did they say anything about taking away their own powers?
I don't know, but I wouldn't believe so.
Exactly.
Whole lot of hypocrisy.
Oh. If she tries to dissuade you and say her path is the correct one, just keep that in mind. And even if they do that, do you think just doing that will change relations anyway? It'll just be the same thing, just more primal.
It'll breed more resentment.
Oh, what I'm saying, instead of like ice blasts and fire blasts, it will be tooth and claw.
That's true.
So, if you're really helping us and you meet her, don't let her convince you that anything about that is right.
She can't. I resolved myself that even if it did turn out that she was leader of the Purge, I resolved myself to not join up or believe in their cause. It is not the right path we need to be taking to the future.
Okay, very well then. We have. I believe we should organize this plan, and I think we are going to have a very uncomfortable boat ride beneath food inside barrels.
Well, you only need to be beneath the food inside the barrels once we're reaching Steelport. Not the entire ride, but fair enough. She stands up and she says, I'll get my engineers ready to make the barrels you need, and feel free to formulate your plans and go further. It'll probably take about 2 or 3 days before we're ready to deliver you, as it were.
Alright, that's fair. We're probably going to stay in the guild. Like I said, we have had attempts on our lives, so I don't mean to bring your guild any hostility with our presence, but it's
More than
probably
like-
the safest place.
More than likely, if there are assassins after you, they'll think twice about attacking a guild. Attack a guild and they'll have, as we're advanced guild, we're not trainees for the most part. They'll have experienced explorers all going after them as they attack you. So the guild should be a very safe place for you to be.
Very well.
Just for
Okay.
clarification, that is 2 to 3 days before we depart from Snow Sea, correct?
Correct.
And in your experience, how long does it take to get to Steelport from Snow Sea by ship?
A day.
Thank you.
Well, that's all I have. Do you guys have anything else to add?
No. Except, again, thank you.
It's no problem. I'm
I don't
doing
think I have anything.
what I believe is the best.
I don't think I have anything else to add.
Very well. Enjoy your stay, formulate a plan, and also feel free to enjoy the view from the Icicle Forest as well. It's rather lovely this time of year.
Yeah.
I believe we actually got to see quite a sight on our way in.
I'm glad to hear it. As Eugene could probably tell you, it's even better from up on the lookout platform. Get to see just the majesty of it during dawn or dusk. But that's all up to you and how you spend your time. Either way, we've got an accord, so you may feel free to do what you may.
I nod my head and I begin leaving the office back to our room.
Yeah.
Reniel follows Eugene.
And so the whole party goes.
Alright. So, yeah, you are all back in your rooms.
Okay, Reniel is going to cast Sending to Rafa and Astrob to tell them 3 to 4 days is when we will meet in Steelport.
Okay.
I have informed the others.
Okay. So, I know we don't know what's in there, but what do you think our plan of attack should be? What should we prioritize?
Well, like we discussed, any methods of disabling any alarms. Those should always be the top priority.
So, we're not just gonna rush towards the leaders, we're gonna take it carefully. We'll have some invisibility ready, Reniel.
He nods.
I don't know if, like, once we're in, they can detect illusions. But, possibly use that to our advantage, too.
From what I could tell, it looks like they were mostly focused on the entrance.
Okay. So once we're inside, disguising isn't off the table. Would you want one of those, Reniel, or do you think you're good with invisibility?
It would be useful to have one of each. That way,
Okay.
if one of them fails, we can use the other.
Okay. Well, between this time, I can give you one of those, or two of those, or however many you want.
What level spell is it?
I think it's only one.
Okay.
It's disguise self.
Alright, he can hold 2 of those with a counter spell then.
Yeah, do you just want one or just 2?
We'll take 2.
Alright, so I'll use 2 spell slots to put it in there.
Okay, he'll just burn the vortex warp then.
Raniel just randomly warped from one side of the room to the other.
It would be someone else actually.
Somebody teleports to the exact same location they're already at.
Question is who?
Maybe
Who is Raniel going to randomly teleport?
Probably Sergey.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Sergey, as Raniel is dumping out that spell, you suddenly see yourself teleporting from one end of the room to the next.
Was that really necessary?
Yes.
Not going to even try to ask why, but okay.
You have come to know me so well.
and just maybe keep on hand a few members of the Purge so you're not just sitting there dumbfounded on the spot of who to turn into. I mean, we know Shad and Estesis are in there.
Honestly, it might be better to just turn into random rank and file members of the group.
Yeah.
That
It
would,
would depend on the situation.
Or we
That
can
would
take
agree
out
with
one of the
Harold,
guards and just turn into them.
worst thing we can do is probably be someone prominent. It would actually attract attention. Especially if said Pokemon is already supposed to be in a meeting.
Yeah.
Or was not supposed to be there.
Yeah, we could. We can also just take out maybe some guards and turn into them. At the very least, that would be good for scouting.
It'll also certainly be more helpful since that way I don't have to worry about flanking around.
Yeah.
I can help you out a little bit with that with enhance ability.
Yeah, we can hope.
And if we're the guards too, we can maybe probe for some information about how the alarms work from other guards. There's items we should buy.
We may be able to set up some caltrops and when we in a choke point for when we attack the leaders.
Yeah, that's a good idea, so they can't escape.
Not only that, but if reinforcements come to try to back them up, they will trip over them.
Yeah. Well, not exactly trip over them. We'll step in them, and then a pointy object gets stuck in their feet.
Could also potentially buy up some things, maybe to help gem a few doors. Maybe some locks.
Never doubt the power of a simple 2x4.
Let's carry in a few planks and set them under the doorknob. I mean, it would actually be helpful, assuming if they're in a private room far enough in.
Yeah. I don't know how different it'll be set up from the one we found in the CLS one.
I'm just kind of looking through my own items now, trying to see if there's anything we want to have. The main thing that's been in my own mind is, I think as a group, we want to just restock on potions.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Why would you want to
We
do
have-
that?
Do we have perhaps a shopping list if we go out to the market?
Yeah, I'll get you a shopping list after stream.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we'll go check out the market later and see if we can find anything useful to take with us. Especially potions.
Oh, I forgot Renial has bombs.
I have bombs too.
Ooh, this could be fun.
Oh no.
Bones.
I just thought of something with that. Hey, you want to cause a cave in?
Well, it's quite hard to plan for an area we know nothing about, so
The best we can really do is get some general ideas and apply them as best as possible.
do we know how Estes and all of them fight? Maybe we have to formulate a strategy when we encounter them.
Reniel You remember from back when the experiment happened and the Nihiligo came. Remember that Shad was pretty powerful magic user. Preferred to teleport and avoid his opponents, but otherwise fought with powerful psychic blasts and magic.
Shad fights about how you expect a mage to fight. He tries to stay away from attackers and attacks them with psychic abilities.
Do you think the anti-teleportation device would work?
Would you like to try it?
Was I told this was a one-use thing, or...
No, you were told that you just turn it on and it works, and turn it off and it works.
Alright, I turned it on. Maybe try teleporting Sergey around again.
I thought I was the mind reader here.
And Reniel's going to try to vortex warp Sergey to the other end of the room.
I certainly hope this doesn't have any side effects if it doesn't work.
Sergey, you are splinched in half. No.
Sergey, you immediately telefrag.
Oh no.
Okay, so you attempt to vortex warp. You see Sergey be surrounded in your magical glow, and for a moment it looked like you were. For a moment, it looked like the magic was about to take effect, but the magic suddenly ceased, and Sergey did not teleport.
Alright, does that consume the spell slot?
Yes.
Interesting.
Indeed, but it could be a double-edged sword. The more magic he is wasting on trying to stay away from us, the less magic that he is trying to use to stay away from us, the less magic he is...
No, I got that backwards again. Excuse me.
The more magic he is trying to use to stay away from us, the less magic he is using to try to damage us.
Yeah, but my plan with this was maybe Sergey carries it turned on his person, and he just gets up in his face, and he's not gonna be able to deal with that if he
Could
can't.
always simply grab him, because at that point,
I will
Oh, you
agree to
think-
that, under one condition.
being
I get to kill him.
honestly, that's kind of what I was expecting.
Then we have a deal.
I'll hand the anti-teleportation. I'll turn it off first, and then I'll hand it over to Sergey.
Leave it on, I want to try one thing.
Okay, I
Please don't
flip
tell
it
me.
back on.
He's going to try to pop into the astral plane.
Oh,
You attempt to pop into the astral plane, and you are unable to.
I simply wanted to verify. I do not want any surprises.
Okay. So, but what you said too, it is a double-edged sword in the sense that you won't be able to do it too, Reniel.
Reniel nods.
So just try to keep your distance from things while we're trying to pin him down. And Sergey, once he's neutralized, turn it off.
that makes sense.
Reniel
Mostly.
taps his chin with one of his whiskers, and he says,
I am going to go to the astral plane now. Turn it back on and wait 30 seconds.
Okay.
so what Reniel's
Oh.
going to do is he's going to go to the astral plane and then try to come back while the anti-teleportation device is turned on.
Okay.
2, 3.
Okay, so you go to the astral plane, it's turned on, and you find yourself unable to return back. It almost feels like the mental equivalent of trying to push past a solid wall. But eventually the 30 seconds pass and you are able to go back.
Hang
I'm
on.
going to
There's
assume
the
that
word I'm looking for.
The interference is both ways. One cannot teleport in or out.
You could theoretically trap someone there. That would be kind of horrifying. Assuming
I
there's
was
actually
actually
nothing.
really hoping Renyel wouldn't get stuck there permanently.
Well, I mean, as long as the device is on, they wouldn't be able to get back.
Oh. What if Renyel cast banishment and then we turned it on?
There's some serious potential with that.
Let's not experiment with that.
I come from a family of scientists. I must experiment.
The only thing this makes me think of is
Would you like to be banished, Sergey?
that's not what all that I was going to suggest. I was going to say, I imagine, well, you've known what's happened with the Ultra Beasts. We already know Fleffel would like to potentially escape, but not only that, it might mean it would prevent other Ultra Beasts from showing up.
It would certainly make combat with him easier if we did not have to contend with any of his allies.
Something to simply remember for later.
Yeah.
Come on, Matt. This I need to remember to mark down this thing in the sheet. Anti-teleport remote.
So while you try to pin down Shad, we'll deal with the Stessus, and I don't really have any idea how she fights. Maybe Aurora would know. You'd maybe speak to her in the next few days, Perennial. I know it's a little weird, you know. Hey, we're gonna fight your mom.
I will consider it.
Mm.
I have also thought about the fact that she is an Umbreon and I am an Espeon. She likely thinks that I have no way to attack her.
Yeah.
But as we are all aware, that is not true.
But just knowing about what to expect might give us an advantage.
We could also ask Raven about what tactics Shad might use.
Well, I mean,
Or,
Rendel's sort of
apologies, not Shad.
Thornton.
Thornton.
Yeah. When he knows he can't teleport, make sure you can maybe neutralize his stronger spells.
well, the thought was perhaps I simply grab him at that point.
Yeah, but when he finds out he can't teleport, he's gonna throw some probably nasty stuff at us.
I was planning on that.
Yeah, so stay in proximity to be able to do that.
It is a shame I did not invest in a silence spell.
You could always attempt to. Actually, there's an idea. You remember all the buckets we got?
Yes.
Why not just simply put one on his head? He can't see you.
Would he be able to take it off?
I mean, if I have him grappled, could always
True.
just restrain him. If you want one mage disabled, I mean, I'll be very focused on that, but it's always good to take one out of the fight.
Yeah. I just...
Renul and I could potentially use Minor Illusion to cut off his line of sight.
I have an easier way of finding out how Estesis fights. We could simply ask Minerva.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I was wondering when you guys were going to think of that.
I also have that smoke screen and a bigger version of it I also picked up from that book.
They still happen to have. I'm just thinking of this. I'm only busy with Shad. Perhaps someone else will want to take this little necklace I picked up. He just pulls out the necklace of fireballs that he's got. I imagine maybe someone else would have a better opportunity to use this. Unless I keep it for emergencies.
I think you should keep it, Sergey, yeah. Just in case. I mean, you don't have an effective way of getting out of a fray, and I think blowing everyone up with that is probably an effective way to get out of a fray.
I think I gotta double check now. What kind of damage is. Don't mind me
Good.
just being bad ideas here in the background because I can use the armor to effectively force half.
Oh yeah, you have that. You have that armor. Reniel could just pop a storm sphere down on top of the two of you. He's probably not got good strength saves, so he's getting battered by a storm, and you're just standing there laughing in his face.
Okay.
We're coming up with horrid ideas.
Well, they're not bad idea. They're just kind of cruel.
You know what I mean.
They're
Yeah.
very Reniel ideas.
Reniel's
Okay,
rubbing off on the party.
Unfortunately.
We can. Do you want to ask Minerva sometime tomorrow, or do you want to ask her now? It just seems a little weird going back to her office asking her something like that.
To be fair, it is a very important thing to ask.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, we go through this planning and talking of like the tragedies of war. Like, by the way, how do you deal with your friend the best? How does she fight?
Luckily, I do not care about such pleasantries.
Okay, then maybe you probably the best to inquire because I kind of feel a little awkward and weird about it.
Okay, Reniel stops loafing, gets up, and starts heading up to Minerva.
Oh my god.
Maybe someone ought to follow him.
Yeah. I'll just follow him.
Okay. You guys.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable doing that, but I'd better go anyway just to do damage control.
Okay, you both go up. Her office door is open, and you catch her just as she's about to leave. She says, "Oh, you two. What brings you back up here?"
We would like to know the best way to defeat your friend in combat.
What he means is we want to know what to expect when we go and infiltrate the stronghold of the Verge.
From Estes specifically.
Yeah.
You guys might want to work on your tact.
Yeah, I know.
I do not need to work on it. I do these sorts of things intentionally.
Estes prefers to sort of. The best way to describe how she fights is she's got a bit of magic on her, but she's mostly focused on sneaking around and striking when you least expect it.
Does she turn invisible?
She can, yes. That's not her only method, but that's one of the things she can do.
That should not be a problem for me.
Okay, but it will be a problem for us. Okay, thank you. We'll relay that back to our friends as we plan.
Very well.
And come on, Reniel.
Thank you for your cooperation.
And he follows Eugene.
And when we get back to our room, I relay that it seems she likes to hide in shadows and sneak attack people.
In theory, I can counterspell her invisibility, but I'm going to be stretched awfully thin trying to keep Shad under control.
I think you should focus it on him if it's a priority. There's got to be another way we can pin her down somehow.
I always have Miracle Eye.
Yeah.
I would not be able to trap...
Hang on. Brain stopped.
I would not be able to trap Shad in a storm sphere, but at least I would be able to keep an eye on Aesthesis.
Well,
Perhaps stab her brain a few times.
oh, do we know how much psychic damage would work on her?
Miracle Eye.
Alright. Well, I think what we need to do is... It sounds similar to what I do. And the things that would neutralize me would if there's nowhere to hide and it's brightly lit.
Perhaps we should also bring some bags of flour.
Yeah, we'd see the footprints.
Or we could just throw it in her face.
Uh,
I like
would-
the idea of it getting in her eyes.
Yeah, put some flour in her eyes. I think we actually used that one time. Yeah,
I would
did
not
it
be
to Dana.
surprised.
Just for the most part, keep an eye on her.
Reniel nods.
And as soon as she disappears, make her a priority. Maybe we can also set out the bombs, and if we know where they are and there's cover there, maybe we could strategically plant some bombs there to remove the cover. It'd be
I
really
am all
good.
for that.
It'd be really good if we can get a look at the place and kind of force the battle where we want it to be.
It's going to be quite a difficulty when it's in their territory.
Yeah, but if we're scouting prior, then we could pick an optimal place somehow and lure them there.
I don't quite follow when you say scouting in their own base.
Well, Reniel and I could perhaps take the place of guards and look around and get an idea of their security. Wouldn't have to sneak around. We could perhaps mingle with the guards a little bit. Have an hour.
At which point you lure them to a suitable location.
Yeah. Perhaps ambush them. That's probably the best case scenario. It never really is that, but there's a chance.
I suppose it can't hurt to
Another
try.
idea. Another idea is perhaps split them up and take them out one by one.
That would work much better if we had access to silence.
Yeah.
Perhaps there are some purveyors of spell scrolls around.
Yeah, that's worth looking into when we go to the market.
You'll need to come up with a good way of luring out one at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's all gonna come down to what we see in there. Reminding of what's on the table when we do get in there. Maybe we'll have no choice but to, attack them full force, but we could divide and conquer, we could scout. It's all on the table. So we're not just sitting there wondering what to do when we get in there.
Plan for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah. So I have no doubt in my mind we could probably take them out pretty easily if we got them all alone. It's 4 of us and only one of them. But unless you have anything else to add, those are kind of what I have in my mind when we get there.
I think if I would add anything, it would be just going in circles. So simply going to need to stock up.
Well, I'm gonna read this book on the astral plane a little more just to possibly debunk it.
Have you read anything interesting?
It just pretty much just told me what you have said, but it's got it's got to have something that could be disproven or.
Can't Ringo simply take you there?
I would have to give him the robe, and I do not want to take off my robe. It is stylish.
And he kind of flips it with his whiskers.
Are you sure there's nothing, like no one there?
Renewal pops into the astral plane.
You know, if he actually lets you, maybe you could get a good look for yourself and determine that. But I mean, I don't imagine he'll be willing to let you take it for a joyride, as it were.
And Renewal is going to use Miracle Eye while he's in the astral plane.
You plop into the astral plane, use Miracle Eye. You might see like a couple of random bits of like stone or stuff like that passing by, but otherwise you do not see any living creature. You are all alone in this vast nothingness.
There are rocks.
Well, that's something then. See, there isn't nothing there. See, well, I think I've successfully disproven the book.
if that is what you need to tell yourself.
Oh.
Well, I certainly will tell myself that, because there's rocks there. Rocks are something.
Well, it was a passing, like it was passing single boulder or so, or two. And the book did say if an object is there, it remains, or brought there, it remains in there.
Wait, so did someone bring the rock there?
Would you
There's
like
no-
a sample?
Why not? I mean, it's an astral plane rock. That sounds nice to have.
Renniel's going to get the closest rock.
Okay, you get a nice smooth one.
And then he hands it to Eugene.
Huh. It's a rock from the astral plane. It it um it looks like any other rock.
Indeed. Perhaps we can sell it for a small fortune.
You think you can really convince someone that this rock came from the astral plane?
If we can find someone stupid enough.
Well, well, I think I've seen enough. You can try and sell the rock if you want to.
Renniel takes the rock. And it is going right next to the cup as useless things Renniel has accommodated.
Radio, I swear to frickin'.
Okay, well, do you think we should settle down for the night then? If we
It's
don't
the
really
morning.
Right, it's the morning. It's the morning voice in my head, or window I look outside of. Well, perhaps we should prepare ourselves physically and mentally for what we're about to do.
Alright, so outside of like shopping, is there anything in particular you're doing during your couple of days of prep? If you said something, Quill, I did not hear it.
I hummed.
Oh.
Were you going to talk to Thornton? Or not Thornton. Talk to Raven about Thornton.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and since we've got a couple of days, we've got a couple hundred words we can throw back and forth.
Okay.
Oh boy. World's slowest conversation.
Okay, so Rainiel's going to ask Raven.
What sort of combat tactics does Thornton use?
Raven responds with, he's got a couple. He likes to do some battlefield control by covering the place with the vines and stuff, but he also likes to get really up front, close and personal. He likes to keep you from moving anywhere he doesn't want you to, so that he can... It cuts off.
He uses sending again.
Continue.
So he can... So that he can just attack his target and keep other enemies from being able to escape him.
Alright. Rainiel will give that information to the party.
Okay, for dealing with him, it seems like he's going to make the ground difficult to travel across and get in our faces.
Reniel is going to do another experiment with a teleporter, teleportation interference device.
Okay. What sort of
Okay,
experiment?
so he's going to, well, first of all, take it away from town a decent amount, and then he's going to turn it on and try thunder stepping.
Alright.
Wouldn't you take the damage from that?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah.
Let's...
One, would the shock would I create the damage AoE? Two, would I take the damage from the AoE?
You attempt to cast Well, first off, are you sure you want to go outside of town?
No. Because I don't want to get attacked by assassins.
Okay. So do you plan on doing this elsewhere or anything like that?
He's probably just gonna go to the beach to do it then.
Alright, step on the beach. Do it.
Thunder stepping on the beach.
Yeah, thunder stepping on the beach. Okay. You attempt to cast the spell. It fails, and there isn't any large boom or anything like that.
Alright, that's unfortunate. I guess it just makes for good sorcery point fodder. Okay. That's another that is the thing Reniel wanted to try.
Okay.
And then I guess he's just gonna go to observe the forest.
Oh, Rainiel's gonna observe the forest. Okay.
Huh.
Are you gonna do it from the lookout platform or just from ground level?
Lookout platform. Because he also probably gets a good vantage point of the sun from there.
He does, yes. Rainiel, give me a perception check. With
Oh,
advantage because you're on the lookout platform.
Can't wait for this to go horribly wrong.
I was gonna go there on the last day.
Oh wow, Reniel. Okay, so that's an 18.
Okay. Rainiel, you stand on the lookout platform, looking over the forest, looking around, and as you look into the forest, you almost blink for a moment as you're not sure you see it, but eventually you look into the forest and you see something familiar. You see Blaster-Lucian hiding out amongst the trees, sort of looking towards Snowsea.
Okay. How far away is he?
He's not too far. I'd say he's about 120 feet from town.
Oh wait, Reniel doesn't have message. Whoopsie. Okay, in that case, Reniel's going to sending him and say, "You are not planning anything nefarious, are you?"
Okay, you do that. You see him sort of in the forest, sort of jump at the sudden message from sending, and he says, "You guys are around? I need to talk to Eugene."
Reniel's going to wave at him from the platform. See if he can get his attention.
You do that, but you don't seem to get his attention. He doesn't seem to be looking up at the platform or anything like that.
All right, he'll cast sending and say,
I will get him. Stay where you are.
and Reniel will go get Eugene.
Okay. I'm going through the book again, like looking for like the section of the book that talks about the rocks. They don't even have a section in this book about rocks. Like, I don't think this book is legit.
Someone would like to talk to you, Eugene.
Who?
Lucian.
Where is he?
He is at the edge of town. I will take you there.
Okay. I put down the book and I follow Reniel.
Reniel will lead him to the last known location of Lucian.
Alright. You follow Reniel. You head over through the icicle forest, and Eugene, you're very much aware that the path you're taking is the path that leads to the mystery dungeon there.
I really don't like coming here.
This is where he was.
Could have picked a better spot.
What is the significance of this location to you?
Oh, this is where I lost him.
I figured that was the case, but I did not want to make an assumption.
Usually the most simplest assumption is usually the correct one, I found.
You would think, but there have been plenty of times where it has not been in my case.
Yeah, why did I say that? It's totally wrong. Yeah, it's never simple. Anyway, where is he?
He should be nearby. I told him to stay where he was.
I kind of look around the icy terrain and say, "Are you here?"
Takes a moment, but you hear him say, "Over here. Come closer."
I I go in the direction he was calling.
Alright. You continue forward until you're right in front of the dungeon itself, and there you see Blaster looking as it did before, still looking like a silver Quilava with those two heavy exhaust thrusters.
Did you really have to pick this place?
I'm hiding out in that dungeon from Black.
Oh. Well,
I didn't
I'm
actually
sorry.
expect you guys to be here. I've just been using it to hide out. I came out just for a bit to look at the town. Deep in my heart, probably in the place Lucian is, I feel nostalgia when I look over that town.
I've sort of come to terms with that. But Blaster, if that's your name, I know Lucian is somewhere in there too, but I know it's predominantly you. I'm sorry for how I acted back in Donsbury. It, I think I probably came across I was just being callous towards one of your allies, but I just I just have my own way of doing things, and she's all right. And
I know. She isn't hiding, but she has been keeping me informed on what Black has been doing. That's why I need to speak with you. Black is preparing an ambush for you guys.
where?
You are aware of the final location. We need to that you would need to go to in order to send us all home, correct?
Yes.
Black seems to believe you'll be going there eventually, and so he's preparing an ambush for you there.
Yeah, so are several other people.
You know?
Yes, more or less. That's what we're kind of dealing with at the moment.
Oh, I see. I wasn't aware that you knew. Yeah, he's got himself situated near the end of the dungeon, and he's preparing an ambush, and he's also preparing his room. I have a question for you guys. You have some way of being able to notice us when we're moving around, don't you? At least you've been too conveniently around when we have been for you not to. You don't have to tell me how, you just have to answer a yes or no.
Um, just a little thing nagging my mind. I want to investigate to see if this is really him.
Roll investigation.
Uh, okay. 19.
From everything you could tell, this does appear to be him. There doesn't seem to be any obvious signs of an illusion or a disguise.
Okay. Yes. Yes, we are.
Have you noticed anything recently? Fluffle's been traveling around.
Yes, it's been appearing in several different locations.
It has?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. I was wondering. I don't know. Even Lightning doesn't know what he's preparing in those locations, but you may want to investigate where he's been traveling and appearing, because Lightning believes that he's preparing something in his own chambers that he will use against you.
Ugh. Okay, if we had already didn't have enough to deal with. Okay, well, I suppose that'll be on our list of things to do.
I apologize, but Black intends to leave nothing to chance, or at least that's what he's told Lightning.
When you say he has been traveling, do you mean to the locations where the path to the old world is?
No, he's been using a wormhole, and he's been Lightning doesn't know where. That's why I asked if you were able to detect when he travels, because we don't know where he has been, but he's been using wormholes to travel somewhere, and he's been doing something in those locations that's supposed to help him when he's fighting you guys.
We will need to contact our informants again to make sure we are not making any assumptions about where he is going.
Yeah. There could be a connection or a path to construct from where he's moving. But in any case, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Every little bit helps.
Try to stay alive there. If you fail, then that returns to Fluffle's plan. Or to Black's plan.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you knew, but we recently made a lot of people angry, so we have to deal with that first.
If you need to, you need to. Black doesn't seem to be going anywhere as far as we could tell. He seems to believe that you'll either come to him, or you will die of old age, and he will continue his plans in another era.
Hubris.
It isn't hubris. We are longer lasting than you Pokemon are.
He's, well, I mean, he's just assuming he's gonna. Ugh, never mind.
Okay, so that is all the information I have for you. I must return back to the dungeon now before the ill effects of being outside of a dungeon starts reaching me.
Alright. Just try to stay safe. I know we've probably put you in a very unfavorable position working with us, but try to live. Even Lightning, too. As many qualms as I have with her. Um, she complied, and I hope she gets out alive, too.
Self-preservation is my highest priority right now. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
He gives you a nod and he begins making his way back into the dungeon.
One more thing.
Yes?
Reniel hasn't really changed all that much. In fact, you know why Nihiligo has... It just seems different from the rest of you.
I do not know for absolute certain, but I can give some guesses. It's possible both their desires have synced up to the point where Nihiligo no longer wants to take over, or perhaps Reniel's will is stronger. We know the Feraligatr you have seen, Parasite, the Pokemon who Parasite attempted to take over, that Pokemon's will was stronger and he is in full control. Though he is with us anyways because he does not particularly care whether we succeed or fail in our plans. It is certainly an odd case, so that would be one of the two possibilities. Either Reniel's will is stronger, or it is the Nihilego is fully in sync with Reniel. I cannot say for certain myself.
Well, I think in either case, it just proves Black is full of crap. You said Reniel would die in a month, and that hasn't seemed to happen.
Black more than likely assumed that would be the case for reasons I cannot imagine.
I told someone a very similar thing the other day, but don't buy into him. Chances are he's just going to tell you what you want to hear.
Well, keep that in mind. Though, more than likely, if Black ever encounters me again, I will no longer be around to buy anything anymore.
Yeah, that's right. We'll try to deal with it as quick as we can, but if we attack them while we're being attacked on all fronts, I don't think we'll survive.
Prepare as you need.
Mm-hmm.
I would not like you to walk in and be immediately destroyed.
But I promise we'll do everything we can to help you. And you can tell Lightning that too. You can tell her I don't like her still, but we'll still try to do that.
We'll be sure to do so next we meet. Goodbye.
Bye.
And he walks straight into the mystery dungeon.
You know, I simultaneously wanted to come here and didn't want to come here.
That doesn't surprise me. This town must hold plenty of memories, both good and bad.
Yeah. I wanted to avoid my parents, too.
Luckily, it does not seem you have had the misfortune of running into them.
Yeah. Just the last place I wanted to go was anywhere near here, so I suppose after that confrontation, it's a little bit of a relief off my chest. It's not so bad. It's still kind of pretty here. Maybe nostalgic to see it for the maybe possibly last time. I don't want to say that. I should be a little more confident that we'll succeed.
I believe we will.
Yeah. If we go in pessimistic, it'll be a disadvantage to us. You know, in the game I play, when you roll, when you have disadvantage, you roll 2 die, and never mind. It's just I gotta clear my mind.
No, please do go on.
Oh, it's actually like, well, it's more of like probability, and you use multi-shaped die to invoke that probability with just multiple odds, and there's different dice for different situations, and yeah, it's fun.
Perhaps once everything is said and done, we could play it sometime together.
Yeah, I think you like it. You can pretend to be someone really cool.
I will have to consider how I will do such a thing.
But we should probably go tell Harold and Sergey about this.
He nods. I will muster what power I have left for the day to contact Ave.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you head along back, Rainiel, what are you going to say to Ave?
I would like a list of locations that Black has been spotted recently.
You send that to Ave, and Ave responds, "We haven't noticed any distortions relating to Black or anything like that recently. Not since the one at Donsbury."
She says that she has not noticed anything.
That's odd. A few wasn't there a few locations where the stone was? That's They
Yes.
said that it was in multiple areas. Maybe that's what he was talking about.
Rainiel's just kind of thinking right now. Which means Quilla's thinking. Proceed.
Yeah.
Alright, so you all eventually meet up at the guild with Sergey and Harold.
Yeah. And I'll catch them up with what we encountered there.
I mean, I guess we figured he would be setting up something for us.
Yeah. He was involved in these factions all ganging up on us when we go there, right? That's
It is concerning that Ave has not noticed anything, though.
Do you think he might be cloaking himself somehow?
It is entirely possible.
Another thing that bothers me is I know we wanted to fight him outside of a dungeon because he'd be weaker.
Maybe that's how he's traveling. Do you find a way to exist outside of a dungeon?
He has a host body, so he can for a while.
Perhaps he has figured out what allows me to do it.
So it's something to be concerned about.
Yeah. Could be. Means he could be at any of these locations, or. I don't know how we're gonna figure out much because we're going in like a day or two.
I cannot think of any way to track him either. If the system we have set up is not able to do it, then what options do we have?
Be prepared if he shows up. We make him a priority if he were to show up during one of our spats of these other factions. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss.
I don't have anything either.
Let's focus on the issue immediately in front of us for now.
Yeah, I
If
agree.
something occurs to us, we can bring it up.
Yeah, let's just get what's on our plate right now dealt with.
All right.
And see.
Is there anything else you want to do or discuss? Obviously, shopping trip off screen, but beyond that?
No.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Neither here.
Alrighty. Then I guess this is where we will end it off. And next time we will see what they do about the perch. See you all then. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.